Good afternoon, everybody. This is Eric with American Business Systems, and we're getting ready to start our weekly webinar this week. And I hope everybody that's joining in will let me know that you're hearing me okay. So I'm excited to be with you this afternoon. It is going to be a fast hour. It goes by so quickly, and before we know it, we're already usually halfway through it. I'm trying to hurry up and get through to the next topics here. So it's a joy to be with you this afternoon. Again, my name is Eric Auger. For those that are joining us in, I see some folks that are coming in. We've got Eli and Ellie and Irons Health Care Consultants. Okay. Tom, Michelle, Chuck, good to see everybody this afternoon. Looking forward again to spend this next hour with you. There's gonna be some more folks that are coming in here. I see that they're trying to get in. So we're gonna go ahead and get started because there is a lot of information I wanna share with you this afternoon. One of the things that we did last week that I got some feedback on was we kind of went through it towards the end of the webinar, some FAQs, some frequently asked questions. And I've got some today, very specifically on our topic this afternoon, some pro tips. Launch your medical billing business right. And you know what we want to try to do today is express to you and explain to you one of the things that you can do right is obviously join these webinars that we have weekly. And then during the webinar, I'm going to share with you some of the marketing techniques, some of the things that we will teach you. We can discuss those. So if you got some questions and you want a little bit more of information, feel free to ask me the questions in the Q&A box. And so for those that may not know where the Q&A box, let me show you where that is. So it's just a little Q&A, it says right there. If you'll click there, just so that I know that we're communicating with each other, just tell me where you're calling in from, maybe what state. You can put your city there if you'd like to, but it just helps me to know that I'm being heard, and at least then you know where to ask your questions. So I hope that we get some good questions in today. Like I said, I'm looking forward to being and spending the next hour with you. So, all right. So nobody has typed in where they're from yet. So, oh, okay. There's Tom. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was hoping to know that I'm not here just by myself, or I see the names over here. But again, sometimes going through these webinars, I just need to make sure that we're being heard okay. Okay, so we've got Michelle from South Carolina, Chuck's from San Diego, California. So see, we got folks from coast to coast here. We got people on the East Coast, the West Coast. I know there's got to be some here in the middle. So hopefully nobody else is shy that will pop in here. So if you'll let me know where you're from, that would be very helpful. All right, there's one from Texas. So there we go. We've got them scattered from one end to the United States to the other to the middle. I mean, sure, there's going to be some here from Ohio and some other folks there. So again, just pop that in there. Again, for those that do not know me, my name is Eric Auger. I'll be your host this afternoon. Sometimes we have some people pop in. So if we do, don't be shocked or startled if somebody else pops in here. It's always good to have some surprise visits. So we never know, but it's good today to know that you're here. And again, we're here to help you answer some of your questions. Again, launching your medical business billing right. I know a lot of folks, I even have a relative that is just getting started with American Business Systems. She just so happens to be my daughter. And I know that she's going through everything that any brand new business owner goes through here, going through the training, going through and getting everything set up. And it's kind of fun to watch that next generation do that. Now, I've done it twice with American Business Systems, where I've had a medical billing company. So not only as I'm here to help you with your answers from a corporate view, but also from being there and done that type of thing. And then obviously coaching my daughter along in this. So it's pretty cool. This has always been a family business. For some of you who do not know the Phillips family, I'm going to introduce you to them. And so kind of take you behind the scenes. Tina's from California. I appreciate you putting that up there. Appreciate it. And so now let's get into obviously, some of you that have been on these webinars before, you know that I kind of give a little introduction of who ABS is and how long we've been around and where we're going and who's kind of driving the ship at this point. And so that's you just give me a little bit of time to get through this. It won't take us too long. But American Business Systems have been around for 29 years. If you know how to count years and everything, we're really in our 30th year. We're in the process of completing our 30th year. So come January, which folks, if you can believe it or not, in just a couple of weeks, we're only 7 months away from the new year already. So if you're like me, I don't know if it just comes with age or not, but man, things seem like they go pretty quickly. So you're going to get started as quickly as you can. So Tina's already asking a question. I appreciate it. How do we get the revenue generated? Is there a list of doctors to help us to get started? Great question. I'm going to keep your question up there, and I'm going to help answer some of that question as we go through this. So Tina, hang on. I'll answer those questions. So everybody wants to know those two questions. But American Business Systems has been around long enough to have created and had different partnerships, technology partnerships. iClaim and EMRX has been around for, I know, 14, 15 years. It's with NextGen Healthcare. And so, folks, this is the great thing about being a part of American Business Systems, because you're getting everything that you need to get started and have and run a successful medical billing business. Some people ask about this slide sometimes, all these different boxes and everything, and you're getting 100% of this when you come on board with us here at American Business Systems. We never piecemeal things together. That you want iClaim, like the basic stuff, it's this price, and then if you want to add some of the other major components, you get iClaim plus this, and then finally, if you really want the whole enchilada, so to say, then it's this price. Well, it's nothing like that. Everything that we have here and everything that will come up with in the future, because I do know behind the scenes there is some new technology that's coming back behind us. So these are things that you will continually keep getting once you've joined us here at American Business Systems. So again, just to reiterate, all of this is included in your business package, and you can see that on the website. And then if you need a little bit more explanation, get back with the person that invited you to the webinar today. Well, who started all of this? That was Linda Phillips here to the left, the young lady to the left there, and the other tall guy there is Patrick Phillips. And they actually started this, obviously, as a husband and wife team over 29 years ago, whenever Linda was asked by a doctor to do their billing. And it really was in the old days where you had to do it on a typewriter. And she really didn't know much about it, any more than probably what you know right now. But because of learning through mistakes and learning everything, Patrick and Linda figured out, hey, we could maybe create this as a business opportunity that we can teach others how to do this. And that's what they've done. And so now they've transferred all of the running of the business to their son, Adam Phillips, who's now the CEO of the company. Patrick and Linda both are sort of retired. You'll always hear about Patrick being in the background and wanting to do some more stuff. Sometimes he pops in on the webinars. He actually did that last Wednesday with me. It was great to have him. But Adam is taking over the reins of running the company. Adam's been at this whenever I remember his kids were little bitty, and now they're grown up to become adults and about to graduate high school and all that stuff. So, this has been a family business, been great to be a part of this and associated with the Phillips family. And Adam has grown into be a great leader here at American Business Systems and an author like his dad. He's written several articles in the process of writing some more. And you'll see some of the other books that he's co-written with one of our directors on our medical board, which is Dr. Vicki Wagner. And I'll explain how those books work and how it works in your favor. But then also a part of being with American Business Systems, people ask, well, gosh, if ABS has been around for so long and they've got, this wealth of information and longevity in the market, could we carry the ABS logo and could we carry this stuff since there's an establishment there? Well, we kicked this around, and Adam came up actually with an organization called MERMA, which is the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. And what that is, it's a website that's out there. It's MERMA.org. You'll see that. You can go to it right now. But what that does, it gives you a presence out there in the market. So when people are asking, well, where did you get your certification? Are you associated with any particular organizations? You can absolutely tell them, yes, I'm part of the Medical Revenue Management Association of America. They are the ones that supplied me with my certification. Whenever I became part of this organization, they certified me now as a medical revenue manager. Now you'll see this, we're not certifying you as a certified medical biller. And I'll tell you why. Because what you need to understand is that you're going to be greater than just being a medical biller. And I'm going to share with you a little bit here on the front end of this webinar, the difference between, again, just being an employee medical biller and then being an owner of a medical billing company. So this is one of my first pro tips of kind of getting some things kicked off here. And I want you to understand how much you're going to ask a question here, how much does an employed medical billing person earn? So this is a great question. I've taken some information from a group called the AAPC. Now, this organization actually does training. They do some certification, and they put out a list of what a medical biller earns. Now, I'm also going to talk about a little bit later in the webinar about whether if a doctor has their own medical biller in their office versus having that outsourced to you, and the doctor's having to pay this person's salary versus having to pay an outside organization like a medical billing company, how that kind of plays out in the doctor's minds, and especially in their way of thinking, what's the best way to have it? Do I hire somebody like this who's maybe gone through a school and has maybe a degree or some type of licensure or some type of certification? Or is it best to get this out of the office? I'll tell you that most doctors understand it's best to get it out of the office because, we'll explain that here in a moment. I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's talk about how much an employed medical billing person will earn. You can see this, that here are all the different averages. So you got certified professional billers, certified professional coders, certified outpatient coders, certified professional coders, payers. You can kind of just go down the absolute list, and you can see that the average person that is in medical billing will make about $67,000. Now, obviously, anybody that's on the webinar today can go out there, get some type of certification like this, and go make anywhere from, we'll call it $55,000 to the top end, which is $81,000. You take all those averages, you're going to average about 65 to 68, maybe squeaking out $70,000. So let's talk about the time it takes you to become a medical biller. How long would it take you that if you started today and you went to this organization, AAPC, and got that certification, how long would it take you? Well, depending on what you're going after, it could be anywhere from 6 months to a year and a half. However, the time it takes you to become a medical billing company is literally less than 30 days. Now, with that, we want to talk about how much can you make with just one doctor. That's an important part of understanding the dynamics and understanding how all of this is working together basically in your favor if you are your own medical billing company. Because you're going to find out here that you'll be able to do billing for more than just one doctor. So number one, you could become an employee going to the doctor's office every single day and working that job day in and day out, taking your little 2-week vacation whenever they give it to you. And you've capped yourself off at the max, about $67,000. So let's do the math here. Hopefully you can see this on your screen. If not, I'm going to show you where to go. I'm actually going to blow it up a little bit better. But the reason I'm showing you this full screen like this is because you can go to our website and see there where you can go put your own calculations in. So I'm just going to blow this up a little bit. And so if you're doing billing for one doctor, billing at that rate of 7%, and each one of those insurance claims that you're filing for that doctor averages out about $150 per claim. And that doctor is seeing about 25 patients a day. you can see right there of your potential income. Well, that's $68,000 with one doctor. Now, again, kind of let that sink in, because I'm going to tell you, it's probably going to take you at the max. Once you really start getting down with the doctor in the very beginning, it may take you a little bit longer, but let's say that you're in with this doctor for at least 30 days. Within 30 days, you should have how you're going to run your day, and it's probably going to take you about 2.5 hours a day at the max to do the billing for one doctor. Whereas if you're working in that doctor's office, you have to show up in the morning, take your lunch, come back in the afternoon. You're there 8 hours a day, again, working with one doctor. You can kind of see the proficiency for a doctor to think about this, to have a full-time person doing the billing, which normally would take something like yourself less than 2.5 hours. It's best that doctor outsources that to an outside billing company. Because again, at that point, the doctor doesn't have to pay a salary, doesn't have to really pay, any Social Security and all the things that they go along with what they're paying. And again, I've got a chart for that a little bit later I want to share with you. But more importantly, let me share this with you. As a medical billing company, you're paid upon your performance, versus if you're just there as an employee, you're just basically going to get by with what you can get by. And that's why you see sometimes a high turnover with these doctors that want to try to keep billing in their office. They think, gosh, if I just get the right person that can really work really hard, maybe I can get paid. But what they'll really find out is that they can just get this out of their office, they're better. But let's talk again about you. Again, you do billing for one doctor as an employee or multiple doctors. That's what you want to do. So, I mean, if you took that times 3, that 68,000, whatever it was, let's call it just 60,000 at that. And you didn't charge 7%, you charge maybe 6.5%, and you're making about $60,000 a year with one doctor. And now, but you're doing billing for 3 doctors. Well, gosh, in most cases, that's going to be over $120,000 a year in revenue for yourself. And you're still not at full capacity of having to work a full 8 hours a day. You're really probably working maybe 6 hours a day. So you're giving yourself time to even continue to keep growing your business, which some of the things I'm going to share with you today. So let me, before I jump into the bulk of where I want to get to right now, I want to answer Tina's question on how do we get the revenue generated, and is there a list of doctors to help us get started? All right, so let's first of all, how do we get the revenue generated? You're going to get the revenue generated when you find a doctor who, again, is in pain and they need to get that pain solved. And you're going to be able to solve it, and I'm going to show you how in just a moment. But I want to answer her second question. Is there a list of doctors to help us to get started? All right. So there are other companies out there that are similar to American Business Systems. And folks, we've been at this, again, for 29 years, going on 30 years. We used to generate lists for our new business owners here at American Business Systems. And we found out that the time that we bought the list and we gave it to you, and a lot of times that's what Patrick and Adam decided to do. That let's just, if they're needing a list, just kind of get a jump start. Let's just look. We want to help them because if you recall, let me kind of just do another little side note here, is that there are no generation of revenue that we get from you as being a business owner. Remember, this is not a franchise, so you're not paying any franchise fees. You're not paying any royalty fees. When you do get a doctor, you're not paying ABS anything for us that we've helped you get that doctor. But you got to remember, ABS can make money on the back end from our technology partners when we've helped you get a doctor. So it's important for us to help you get a doctor. So obviously we felt like it was in our best interest. Look, we want to help our business owners. So if they called us and said, hey, I'm in this area, can you get me a list of doctors who may be looking for a medical billing company? Well, we did that. We did that. and it was not successful. And I'll tell you why. By the time that we paid for the list, we spent money on it. We get it to you. Now it's in your hands. Now we don't know whether you're going to do with anything with it or not. But those that did try it, by the time that they reached out to the doctor, that doctor has already found a solution. And in most cases, if you find anybody out there in our sphere of doing business as we're doing business, which we're helping people learn how to do medical billing and own their own medical billing company, and they're promising you a list to kind of get started, I'm going to tell you that list is already old, and you being brand new at this, you really do need some help. So we have come up with different ways, Tina, in helping you find the doctors who are in pain versus giving you just a list of doctors and you just kind of going out there fishing. And every time that you go out there, you would say, oh, Dr. Jones has already got a medical biller, or, they're right in the middle of negotiations, or, somehow that doctor got on a list and they've never been looking for a medical billing company. So a list is only as good as what we feel like we can help you generate. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about today. So Tina, I hope that answers your question. I don't want to just give you short answers. I want to give the explanation to why we do what we do and where we help our business owners. So, kind of give me a thumbs up there if that helped answer your question, and we'll continue on. So, oh, she said, sounds great. We need our hands held at first. Yes, you answered my questions. Okay, great. I appreciate the feedback there. All right, so let's talk about where is the doctor's pain. Now, today I'm going to challenge you on doing some things really on your own after this webinar. Today's webinar is not just one that you can kind of sit back and kick back and be entertained for the next hour. I'm going to give you, those that you haven't invested a penny in American Business Systems, I'm going to give you and challenge you with some things I think you should be doing today, whether you join this or not. And yes, I'm going to challenge you to spend a little money on yourself, not on us and not on American Business Systems, but on yourself. Folks, you can see behind me, I've got it blurred out, but these are books, and these are real books behind me. And why do I have so many books? Because number one, I do like to read, but I've got everything from self-help books to how to improve myself in my business and other types of books, excuse me, behind me, because I continue, excuse me, to want to improve myself. And I'm going to share with you a couple of books today that I think you ought to get a hold of. Now, hold on. Got a little frog in my throat, and I just had to clear that out. And I think you need to invest in yourself. So if you're really looking at getting started in this, I'm going to suggest a couple of books. The first book I'm going to recommend to you is this book right here, The Myth of the Rich Doctor by Dr. Vicki Rachner. Now, why Dr. Rachner? Well, Dr. Rachner actually works with us here at American Business Systems. I'm not getting a penny whether you buy her book or not. You can go find her book on Amazon.com. I suggest you get it. Now, I'm not making you. Nobody's here is telling you to go buy the book before you start over here. I'm recommending that you invest in yourself, because you need to know where are the pain points with these doctors. Now, just a little snippet from the book talks about physicians in private practice walk away from an average of 30% of their income. Well, would that hurt you? Would that be a pain point for you, that if someone could solve that pain point, that you're going to find out that they're not trying to sell you anything, they're trying to help solve a problem? So outsourcing your medical billing could bring claim rejections as low to 2 to 5%. Well, first of all, you need to know where they are right now. Well, they're at 30%. I mean, they're as high. There are doctors who have rejection rates that are as high as 30%. Not all of them are there. They may be 15%, 20%. But folks, if we could show you today that you could say, hey, Eric, if you could help me find extra money without having to really spend much more, could I do? Would that be would that be helpful for you? Well, yeah, and Dr. Rachner says this may be the fastest and easiest way to increase your cash flow. Now, who's she talking to? She talking to medical billers? No, she's talking to doctors. Guess what? This book is already being bought by doctors already. So again, Tom's saying, say the name of the book again, please. It's The Myth of the Rich Doctor. The Myth of the Rich Doctor by Dr. Vicki Rachner. Hopefully, one thing that you can do, if you're not being able to see my screen here, get back with the person that invited you here. I've already sent them a PDF of all of these slides. So even if we don't get to all the slides, you're going to get the whole slide deck. So get back with the person that invited you to the webinar today. The second book I think you ought to purchase is this one, The New Thriving Medical Practice. Yes, you can buy this one off of Amazon.com. Now, again, I am not here selling books. What I'm trying to do here today is get you proactively working what you think you might want to do. Would you be out maybe 25, 30, 40 bucks at this fund? Yes. What if you discover after reading these books, man, this is maybe just not the business for me? I would rather you find that out now than going through the process of going through all the paperwork and getting started with us and then finding out that this is really not the business for you. So again, I'm not in book sales. I don't make a penny off of this, but I can tell you these two books are very, very important for your education. Now, in the book here on page 89, you can see rejections have held steady at about 30% industry-wide. The smallest error can trigger a rejection. Every item must be perfect to be processed by the payer, whether it's Medicare or other insurers. And it goes on and talks about this person here, Keith, owner of management and marketing in Santa Rosa, California, tells one of his medical practices that had a 71% error rate in a single year. This caused an estimated loss to the practice of $185,000. Now, that is really on the weigh-in scale on this. But I want you to see the book is written by Patrick Phillips and Dr. Vicki Rachner. Now I'm going to show you here in just a moment. You see down very small right there in the print down there at the bottom, and it says forward by, and I can't even see it myself, but it's by somebody, but it says CMRM, Certified Medical Revenue Manager. That's our licensees or our business owners. So yes, once you become part of American Business Systems, part of your marketing is this book. And I would say, look, you know what the cost is to get started here with American Business Systems. This is like 1% of that. It's like 24 bucks to get it off of Amazon. And yes, get a hard copy. I want you to get a hard copy because I want you to read it and I want you to highlight it and I want you to really know what this business is all about. Because if you can start learning that now, you can actually start marketing before you actually start. And I'm going to show you how and why you can start doing that. So Tina's asked, well, what about finding potential clients? We are going to help you find your potential clients, and we're going to help you find the specialties of how you want to, the types of doctors that you want to do. So you can see here, it's not just primary care or anything else. I mean, you could do billing for a urologist, you could do billing for a dermatologist, you could do billing for geriatric medicine. Well, folks, if you don't know what geriatric medicine, just look out the window of most of the people that are over 65, and I almost have to look at myself in the mirror. I'm about 4.5 years away from that myself. But listen, folks, as we grow older, people tend to go see the doctors more frequently, you know, for the aches, the pains, for everything else that goes along. And yes, they want to try to stay as healthy as they can. So you could do billing for any of these types of doctors that I've got listed here. And again, we're going to show you how to find those. And I'm going to give you some insights about how, instead of you trying to go get those doctors and knock on their door, how we can get them to knock on your door. But I'm going to tell you, it kind of starts with the books that I've shared with you. I want you, again, to kind of get some of your own education. And so if you show up next Wednesday, I'm going to ask anybody that maybe has gone out there and got those books so that you can start saying, yes, I got them. It's starting to click now. So what I want you to do is walk away from today's webinar. It's just not some information that you go, okay, this sounds pretty good. And I think I kind of like this type of business model. I really want you to walk away from today's webinar thinking, gosh, they've actually gave me something to do to go get things going. So I really want you to be thinking about that. Now, when you become a business owner here at American Business Systems, you are going to get a professional website. Folks, if you understand anything about websites, first of all, you know you have to have one when you're starting any type of business. And secondly, you better have the right things to say. And we've already got all of that pre-built for you. And we can customize it to any which way you want it. We've got several different templates that we can show you and create for you. And if you even want it even more specialized, just ask the person the support team here, and they'll see if there's some tweaks that can be done to it. But we're going to add your contact information, your logo information to it. It's going to be personalized. It's not going to be looking like some cookie cutter type of website. Plus, what we're going to do through that, whenever you go through our training, we're going to show you really how to utilize your website, again, to drive traffic to you through some of the social media types of things. We're always doing different types of webinars for our business owners, how to use Facebook, how to use LinkedIn. We know that these social media platforms are important. So instead of just thinking of yourself, you remember as a kid, maybe whenever you went fishing for the first time and your dad, your mom, your grandfather, or whoever it may have been, a friend, took you out there and you got one little pole and you got one little worm and you put that little worm on the hook and you put that out there and you just hope and pray that something happens to that little bobber and it starts doing this. We're going to show you how to put multiple lines out there, because that's the way that you're going to catch your client. So you're going to learn multiple different marketing techniques. And I'm going to tell you, don't just use just one. I want you to put as many lines out in the water so that the doctors will go, that you're giving yourself the best chance to at least get the nibble, get that little bobber jumping up and down. And then we're going to show you how to reel it in. And whenever I show you we're going to show you how to reel it in, it's really like when you're a child and you finally got that fish on the line. And as a little kid, you're just going, this is so great. And you forget to reel it in. All of a sudden the line's going out and whoever brought you takes it, brings it in, reels that little fishy in. And it's the same thing we do here. We don't leave you alone. We're going to show you that once you've got that nibble, that we're going to be here to work with you. We're going to here to help you close it, because part of what we're going to do, we're going to do the demo of the system for you, for that nibble of that client. And many times we help you close that deal with that doctor while we're on the phone with them. And I don't know many other business opportunities out there that are in medical billing that would do that and will and will kind of tag team with you to bring that in. Plus, the other thing that you're going to have with us is a superior support team. And folks, the last couple of Wednesday webinars I've shared with you and kind of gone in some detail of really what's on our licensee support site. And truly, everything that you're going to need post-training is all there, which includes all of your training that you've gone through that's been recorded once. And now if you need to go back through it, it's already there, plus everything else that's there. So just think of it, it's your private area that you'll get to and have access to. All right, so Amma, I hope I said your name right. Are there additional fees for the website, or is it inclusive with the program? It's all inclusive. You don't have to pay anything extra for it. Now, I will say this as a caveat, you have business expenses just like anybody and anybody else does. When you host a website, you have to have hosting fees. That doesn't come from us. if I'm starting up a brand new website somewhere and I want my website to be out there, I have to have it hosted. So there are hosting fees. We've negotiated the hosting fees with the company that we utilize. And that's all there. Amma says it sounds like mama. I love it. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. So Amma, you're getting the full webinar. I mean, the website. So the only thing, again, you're gonna have to pay for your hosting of your website, which should probably include, I don't know, any of the amount of emails that you need to. So again, that's not an ABS expense. That's just the expense of hosting a website out there. I hope that it makes some sense. All right, so everything that I've shared with you so far, some of you probably said, okay, I've heard all that. Now, what I want to talk with you about is now let's kind of roll up the sleeves here. And I'm going to talk with you of what you need to do the day that before you actually sign in on us with here at American Business Systems. And it's called business networking. Folks, you can hang your shingle out, you can get business cards, you can get a phone number, you can do all the things that you think you need to do, create your LLC, you can do all of those things and say, look at me, I'm in business, and people don't know whether you're in business as the next garbage collector out there or if you're in medical billing until people get to know who you are. And what you're going to learn in this training that is tied to business networking is an in-depth look at networking strategies for your business. Networking has proven over time to be the most effective way to jumpstart any new business. We have learned that through everything that any of our business owners have gotten their first client is through business networking. You see here BNI, that stands for Business Networking International. That's probably one of the largest networking groups in the United States. And you can see from there, it has produced $6 billion worth of revenue for people that have joined. And if you think about BNI, it's pretty seclusive that you're not going to join a business networking group that has more than one specialty in it. Like if you're a real estate, where I live, there seems to be more real estate people where I live than a man in the moon. They're all over the place. But if you were to join BNI in your particular area, they only allow like one real estate agent, one life insurance agent, one doctor and whatever, and really only one medical billing company, and that could be you. Now, what happens is when you get in those business networking groups, everybody in there is going to start working together, and you're going to hear about what Susie Q does and Robert Morris does and whoever else that's in this networking meeting. And you're going to start working together because you're going to be out there, you're marketing, you're running into people, they're running into people, and they're sharing all that information so that wealth of information gets spread out like that. To me, I think this is one of the best things that you can start doing right now. Even if you don't know if really this is what you want to do, you can go to any of these business networking meetings at any time. And you can say, look, I'm just here to explore. I'm looking at starting a business. You could even tell them you're looking to start a business in medical revenue management. That's the way I would call it, instead of just medical billing. And start to see what starts to generate out of that. Because one of the things you're going to, if you buy those books and start reading those books, that's why I said you could literally get started even, which is really kind of nuts here. I'm not trying to get anybody started to go out there and warm market, because the last thing I want you to do is go out there and all of a sudden you got someone who says, hey, I got a doctor I'd like to turn you on to. And all of a sudden now you got a lead, you don't know what to do with it. But at least you can just tip your toe into the pool of what networking is all about and start to just talk about, how does this business, how does this thing work? I know where everybody lives, everybody that I could probably say on this call right now, you probably have a chamber of commerce in your area, and I would go sit and talk with that director. Every chamber of commerce has an executive director. I'd go over there, I'd set an appointment, I would talk with them. I'd say, tell me your businesses that are in the area. Do you have doctors? Are there any doctors that are associated with the chamber? I'd get out there, I'd find out, are there any home health agencies? I'd go find out if there's any nurse practitioners that are around. Go out there and just ask. Michelle's asking, how do you know what is the best billing software to use? We have the billing software, Michelle, so there's no doubt that I would say the one that we have is the best. And I'll tell you real quickly why, instead of just saying it's the best. And Michelle, the reason is because as far as we know, our system that we have with iClaim and EMRX is the only one that's still out there that has its own clearinghouse. And now, just to shorten that up, why is that best? Because if you have your billing and your clearinghouse in the same system, when you process that claim is going directly to the insurance companies. It's not just going out to some third-party clearinghouse, then to the insurance companies. Hope that made some sense, and I may even have a slide in here to kind of illustrate that. So, but that's why I would suggest to you, you need to see a demonstration of the software. So I'm going to share with some of the things that you should be doing between now and what you need to do before you get started. So I've just talked with you a little bit about the business networking. I thought about the webinar today, and I thought, gosh, if I'm sitting in these people's shoes, I want to know what I could be doing right now. And so I'm giving you tips right now of what I think you could be doing as you are still evaluating whether this is the business that you want to get involved in. And I think you're going to find out that just like any business, you need to have exposure. And so this is one of the ways. Find your local chamber of commerce, go to a meetup, find a BNI meeting. You can attend those meetings absolutely for free. It doesn't cost you anything but your time. So what have I shared with you for the, gosh, it's 4:42 already. What have I shared with you for basically almost the last 45 minutes? Okay, I've been asked you to invest in yourself, in your education. And now I'm just telling you to invest some time. And folks, if you don't get anything out of it today, that's the least amount, the least, hurt that you can do to yourself. So I suggest that you do these things. The other thing that we're going to show you is actually how to use classified ads. Why would I tell you to use a classified ad? Because guess what? Doctors are posting on Indeed. They're posting on all these other websites that are out there. And guess what they're looking for? Guess what they're advertising for? Yeah, you're right. They're looking for a medical biller to come work for them. So getting back to the question that was asked me earlier, do we give you a list of doctors who might be looking for a medical billing company or a medical billing somebody? Folks, the doctors are advertising themselves. Okay. That was the best thing that you could have heard today. And we're going to actually show you how to write your responses to doctors that are looking for medical billers. And we're going to show you how our business owners have actually utilized that and got their first client, because instead of sending just a resume, they were actually to send a resume plus what their company does and how actually saving the doctor money, and including, guess what? The book of the New Thriving Medical Practice that is written, the foreword written by, guess who? You. So we've got the plan of action to help you get your first client. Natalie's asking, is there a way to know which doctors already use someone with ABS so we don't solicit them? And how much is involved to the doctor to switch to ABS software? Do they have to change anything in their system they have already? Good question there. First of all, let me share with you, I think this is my 15th year being with American Business Systems. This question comes up a lot. What about other ABS business owners? Will I step on them, or will I kind of get through, what's going to happen? Rarely. Even in the metropolis we live in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, there are probably, I don't know, a good 10, 15 that might be in this particular area. But I'll tell you, I live in this area. My first doctor that I had was in Georgia, not even in Texas. My next one actually came from East Texas, and I didn't even live in that area. I live over here in Fort Worth. So folks, I'm telling you, you can find doctors and you'll be able to find them, and they may not even be in your same location. So Natalie and Tina says, that's a great question. I agree with you. It's a great question, but we will let you, if it ever comes about that, I think we had one time that I know about since I've been with the American Business System that's actually ever happened. And then how much is involved with switching the doctor? That's a good question. And we're here every step of the way. One of the things we don't want the doctors to feel like that they're pressured into having to use iClaim. Obviously, we're going to show them why they should use iClaim. And many times they're ready to switch at the time when they're ready to switch medical billing companies from somebody to you. Again, remember, we're here to help you. We're going to demonstrate the software to the doctor. And in a couple of areas where I've done some of this, what we've done is I told the doctor, look, let me just do your billing. Let me make sure that I understand your practice and everything. And as we get into it, maybe another 2 to 3 months, I'm going to switch you over to the iClaim system, because I promise you, I'm going to be able to get you more money. And usually at that point, the doctors, we've built some trust together because of some of the things we've done in the beginning. But a lot of times the doctors are ready to go right off the bat. All right. So again, before I get off of this, remember, we're going to show you how to use classified ads. We're going to find those ads. It used to be in the newspaper. You can't find them in the newspaper anymore. But we're going to show you how to search and scour the sites that are out there where doctors are posting and looking for medical billers all over the country. So maybe you do live in, let's say, Fort Worth, and you may want to do billing for doctors that are down in Houston. Well, look up the Houston area for doctors that are looking for medical billers in that area. And then we're going to show you how to take that information and then again, attach a resume to it, show, email, not email them, but send them a book. And I'm going to promise you, it's going to get directly into the doctor's hands. You don't even have to worry about it. Warm market. So even some of the more people that you already know, we're going to teach you again how to develop your list. Since that was really what was started all the questions here, we're going to teach you how to build your list so that you are marketing to doctors who in the thought may be wanting to switch, or at least looking, or at least doing their due diligence. Sometimes you're going to find a doctor who's ready to make the move immediately. But again, that warm market, whether it's because you've sort of developed that through some of the networking meetings that you've gone through, you started talking about it because you're a little bit more familiar with it, because you've bought the book of The Myth of the Rich Doctor and you've read it, or you've attended so many of these webinars, you kind of already know what doctors are looking for. But we're going to teach you again how to develop your warm market. Your warm market are people that are your friends, your relatives, your existing coworkers, existing customers, et cetera. And what we're going to do is say, whenever it's time for you to say, I have started this business, we're going to show you how to sit down with them and develop a list, how to develop your warm market ideas starters. Now, the great thing about their training is this training is usually over 10 days to 2 weeks. Folks, we used to have it over a 5-day period. It would start on Monday morning and go through Friday afternoon until about 2 o'clock. So maybe almost 4.5 days, literally trying to drink from a fire hydrant. But we've spread it out since we're doing everything online now, just like what we're doing on the webinars today. And that trainer is going to have you at each session do some homework, get some things started. And you're going to quickly find out that you know more people than you really thought you did. And we're going to teach you how to get out there and really start to develop, again, your warm market. Now, one of the things that I'm going to skip over a couple of these slides. Now, you're not missing anything other than just a few slides here. But what I want to share with you is that for those that really want to really start to jumpstart your business, one of the areas that we're going to teach you is how to go out there and solicit sales reps that are already marketing to doctors. So these are people that are already engaged with doctors. They're selling them, stethoscopes and tongue depressors and gloves and masks and whatever else that they use in their office. Okay, drug reps always out there, and many of those drug reps are independent, so they're not tied to just one company. So if you were able to approach them and say, hey, I'm a medical billing company, just started a new division here in the area, trying to build this market, can I take you to lunch? Tell me about the market. Oh, and by the way, if you bring me business, you're going to make some money. So it's not just like hiring a sales rep. We're going to teach you how to interview these folks, how to figure out what the market's going. They know they're doctors, and they're going, oh yeah, I heard just the other day, Dr. So-and-so just making a fuss about really what is they're not getting. And you know what? I can make that introduction for you. Now, what if you paid that person $500 after you got the doctor signed? Just say, look, upon signing up the doctor, because I charge that doctor a setup fee, I'm gonna pay you a portion of that setup fee. Heck, if it took you everything that you got out of that doctor for a setup fee you gave to that person, wouldn't that be worth it to get your first client? So folks, hopefully what you're walking away from today is what it's going to take for you to successfully launch your medical billing right. So these tips that I'm telling you are the tips, really not just the tips, what you're going to learn in our training class. Lastly, what I want to share with you before we kind of wrap things up here is that people do business with people they know, like, and trust. That is the bottom line. And what you need in the very beginning is instant credibility. And here's how that's going to happen. This is how you ride the coattails of American businesses since being around for 29 years. And yes, it's with the book, The New Thriving Medical Practice. And as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be your way into the doctors, because the foreword is written by none other than you, the certified medical revenue manager. We give you the option, if you want to, write your own foreword. However, again, we know that not everybody may be good at writing. We already have a template. We've already got one ready for you to utilize. You can take it from there, tweak it, make it sound a little bit more like you. But what's going to be best for you is that you've already read the book, so that you, whenever you're making your comments as the foreword to the book, and you being the business owner of a medical billing system company, you're able to put your own words in there, so that when you are marketing and talking to the doctors, you already know what you wrote. And a lot of times when the doctors get this book, because remember, you could have found the doctor that's looking forward to hire a medical biller for their office. You've sent the doctor a resume plus this book. The doctor goes, hey, I'll pull somebody's name over here. Chuck, just read your book. Well, you didn't write the book. You wrote the foreword to the book. But what you did is you had instant credibility. So as a certified medical revenue manager and the person who wrote the foreword to the book, you already have instant credibility. At that point, nobody's asking me, well, how long have you been in medical billing? You already own that. We have some other books that you're going to get along with your package. You're going to get another one called 9 Ways Doctors Let Money Slip Through Their Fingers. And this is another way in which you can specialize your book, and you can say compliments of whatever you want to name your book. Lastly, you want real instant credibility. And I've already mentioned to you that Dr. Vicki Rackner is our medical director with Myrma. How about having her write you the letter introducing to maybe 4 or 5 doctors that you've identified through our support? We're going to work it to where she writes this letter of introduction from a doctor to the peer and have Dr. Vicky introduce you to, again, some of the doctors that you've already identified, either through the networking that you've done, through your research of what you've done through Indeed, or again, whatever resource that you use that, or through your warm market, and have Dr. Rackner introduce you. You can't build more credibility than everything that I've talked with you about so far. So there are some other slides here. Again, this is about Myrma. Again, you're going to get instant credibility. Your name goes on through here. You can be part of really, truly the largest independent group of medical billers in America through the organization of Myrma. Now, there are a few last things that I want to share with you, that we are here to help. We have ongoing training, ongoing support for you. And again, that's going to be coming through you. You're going to get more information than what you're getting now. Before, as a medical biller, as a business owner here with American Business Systems, we don't leave you alone. You're going to find out that we truly are partnered with you in building your business. So again, we truly are here to help you in every way that we can. Again, you're going to get all of the marketing pieces. We have proven solutions for all of that. And folks, I've just literally run out of time. I'm going to get to the last few pieces here. I do want to show this to you. Remember, I mentioned earlier about, we're going to show you how to, once you've gotten engaged with a doctor, you're going to do what's called a practice revenue report. And you're going to find all that information and through this practice analysis. So again, we have all the questions. All you have to do is ask the doctor or their person that says, yes, I want to hear more about what you do, and I know I need to go through some type of analysis. Once you get all that information, you're going to put it into a practice revenue report, and then you're going to show the doctor really where they are currently, where they could be, and their projected impact on their practice. And this is a real one that we've done. We did this with one of our business owners here with American Business Systems. And you can see that there is a potential to increase that doctor's revenue by $10,000 per month, switching the system and go into a new medical billing process completely. But that's the impact that you can make. Okay, Tina's asking, can you send us the slides, or do we ask from your representative? Yeah, just ask them from the person that invited you to. They've already got them. You'll see the slides, and they got some more information in them. All right, let's do some FAQs as we kind of wrap up. What should I be doing before signing up? I bet you probably already know. But this is the first thing I think you ought to do. You need to talk to at least 3 ABS business owners. Yes, at least 3. I wouldn't talk to just one. I talked to at least 3 ABS business owners. How do you get that list? Get back with the person that invited you today. We already have a list of people that you could talk with. Second thing, you need to set up a demo of the iClaim EMRx system. And if you've already seen it once, maybe you want to see it, show it again. I'd maybe get a business partner, a potential business partner, and say, hey, I just really need, I'm doing some evaluation. I really want you to sit in with me. Tell me what you think. Get a copy of the new Thriving Medical Practice book. That's some things I think you should be doing as you get started. All right. Next question that gets asked frequently is, should I try and secure a client before I start with ABS? The answer is no, absolutely not. I'll tell you why. I've had people try to get out there. They did all the right things. They've heard enough from the webinars that they probably did all the right things. Doctor, they finally get engaged even with a doctor. Unless you already know medical billing or revenue cycle management, and you already know all the different buzzwords and all the different acronyms that are out there, I wouldn't try to engage with a client before you start with ABS. Doesn't mean that you can't build a list. It doesn't mean that you can't start working with warm markets. I'm not telling you that. What you could do, again, however, you can start building a warm market list. But trying to engage with a client early and a doctor, and you don't have the support that ABS is going to give you, I wouldn't try to do that in the beginning. And then attend some networking opportunities. Go to your Chamber of Commerce, do what you can, get all that you can there. So I kind of giving you all this. Lastly, do I need any additional certifications before I begin? A lot of people ask, gosh, do I need to go take a course? Now remember, that course is going to take you 6 months. I've already answered that question to you early on the webinar. But no, again, you don't have to do that either. However, what you can do is learn from others. That's why I suggest find 3 or 4, ABS business owners that you can talk to and develop a relationship with them early on. Just say, hey, I'm really trying to evaluate this thing. Tell me what you think. Ask the questions. Say, I'm sure after our call, I may have some other questions here. And at the end of your training, you will be certified. You will be a certified medical revenue manager, which is, I think, is better than just being a certified medical biller. That's the webinar today, folks. I mean, we've taken it all the way up to the top of the hour, and I haven't even talked about the money back guarantee. Folks, you can get started with us today, sign the paperwork, invest in yourself, and you still have 30 days to figure out if this is the right business for you. That's the most fairest thing that Adam, Patrick, the rest of the Phillips family can ever give anybody, the opportunity to get all of your money back. I've given you a couple of things that you could probably do already. Get a couple of books, invest some time, but then you've got 30 days to still make your decision. Remember, I told you it's going to take you less than 2 weeks to go through training, which means you can go through the entire 2 weeks of training, graduate from training, and still, if you've got time there within your 30 days, you can still ask for your money back. No questions asked. Just tell them that this is not the right business for me. We'll make sure we get all the equipment, everything that we've shipped to you, shipped back to us, and we'll make sure that it's all there. And then obviously, we're just going to give you your money back. Tom's asking, so I might have missed it, but where do we find ABS owners in our area? Ask your business coach that you're working with here. They'll see if they can try to find some that are in your area. Most of them are all over the country. Most of them that you're going to talk with already have clients, and they're probably already in your area already doing business. So I just find out the closest one that you can to you and set up a time to visit with them. Okay. All right. So some next steps here, folks. You might already know this, but listen, you need the research guide. Here's a picture of the research guide. I think you're selling yourself short if you don't get a copy of this. If you didn't know that you could get a copy of this, again, get back with the person that invited you. Now, I've given you a lot of things to get back with the person that invited you with today. I should have just made a list of that. But one of them is the research guide. You want to get that information. So remember, I'll kind of go through it. Get back with the person that invited you here today. Ask them for a list of references, at least 3. Set up a demo. Get the research guide. Make sure that you go to our YouTube channel. There, you can go see the other webinars that we've done. They're all there. Interviews, and hopefully we can arrange in the next week or so to do another interview. I probably need to do that. There's that reference of the licensees. Here's some pictures of these folks right here. Get that. Again, get a live demo. Do one, make sure that you get it. You want that kneecap to kneecap relationship already with us, because folks, this is the same demonstration that we're going to do when you developed your warm market. You got a doctor says, okay, Tom, can I see your system? Or can I get access? A lot of doctors will say, okay, can I get a demo, log into your system so I can see it? We got one better for you. Doctor, what we're going to do is take you through it, because our clearinghouse is built into it. And we need to show you, with data that we've got stored in there, to show you how it works. And then lastly, or not lastly, but in the process, in your next steps, get the purchase agreement. You just download it. It's all electronically. It can all be electronically signed now. Get your funding together, and then start your training. You could start training as early as next week. As you're going into the summer months, you could, now the kids are out of school, may not be, now is the best time for you to kind of get through that. Because you want to get started, you want to get things going here, because all of a sudden it's going to be the fall. You're going to get into the end of the year, and even towards the end of the year is a great time, because doctors are going, okay, I didn't make as much as this year as I probably thought I should. might be a time to make some change. Now is a good time to get involved with those doctors. So hopefully today's webinar has given you a lot to think about. If you don't have someone to get back with, call us here at 866-565-8413. Give us a call. We'll be here to help. Here's the information via the email, info@absystems.com. We look forward to working with you folks. These were the pro tips today of launching your business, medical billing business right, successfully, whatever you want to do. There's some things that you want to take away from today. Again, there are more slides in here that I was able to have time to get to. So again, get back with the person that invited you, ask them for the PDF of today's webinar. Folks, if you've got a topic that you would like for us to talk about, again, shoot us an email. Just say, hey, I've attended some of these webinars. I love this one that Eric did today, but it didn't answer all of my questions. And that's okay. We're here. We're only here for an hour, and we try to cram in as much as we can. Probably in the next week, I'll probably talk about, excuse me, how some of our prior business owners failed in the beginning. That may not be a bad one for you to attend. Why did they fail? And what did they do to correct it? So we're going to talk about that probably next Wednesday. Why not? Let's just do that. If that sounds of interest to you, join us next Wednesday, the same time. James says, thank you. Have a great week. I appreciate it. I hope it's giving you some more information. And I look forward to seeing everybody next Wednesday. Everybody have a great thumbs up weekend as we go into, this is Memorial Day weekend. So everybody have a great long weekend. And it's a good time to always think of our vets. Let's just salute them and everything that we have to do. Just as a personal note, just a few weeks ago, I stood on the beaches of Normandy, and I tell you, it's good to be an American. And we may have things bad here, as it is today, but we appreciate what people have served before us, and let's not forget those as we think about Memorial Day weekend this weekend. So enjoy your time, be safe while you're out there as the summer starts beginning to start. But again, let's thank a vet somewhere too as well. Everybody have a great weekend. Y'all have a splendid weekend, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Good night, everybody.